Alrighty, second stream of the day, because I'm being productive before we hit the ARC encounter protest this weekend. We're going to take a look at what Kent decided to stream on Monday. About a 30-minute long rambling from whatever in Psalms he has. Then he goes on about carbon dating being wrong because of his ice canopy. It's actually more of a Hovind theory ramble than anything else. So I was going to ignore it because carbon dating, I'm tired of hearing him go on about that. But he goes over his Hovind theory here, and so I thought it'd be nice to have kind of a refresher for those who may not be aware of his Hovind theory to hear it from the jackass's mouth. So we're just going to get right to it. Don't have anything in the way of preamble. I just want to get this done. Let's do this thing.
You got to do something for the. Oh, good evening, folks. Ken
Always got to start right from the beginning.
Hovind here in the crew at Dinosaur Adventureland in Lenox, Alabama. It is June the 30th, 2025. The year's half over, Joseph. You got to do something for the Lord. Better get busy. Brought a bunch of different.
Everyone knows he always talks to Joseph. It's just who he goes to. It's like Vern from all the Ernest skits. Hey, Vern, you know what I mean? You gotta get busy for the Lord, Vern.
Channels. They took us off of YouTube, but you can check them all on drdino.com.
Yeah, get over it.
They're all listed there. We're on, let's see, Facebook, Rumble, X, our app, our own TV channel, KentHovind.tv, Instagram, TikTok.
You know, you think it'd just have a list you could read this from, or just remember it. Hey, we're on X, Facebook, Rumble, our own service, KentHovind.tv, da-da-da. You think you'd be able to actually, just remember this, but nah, Mr. 200 IQ can't. Has to look at his little presentation to remember where the hell his own shit is broadcast to.
And just check it. Sign up for all of them. They don't cost anything. That way, if they shut us off for one, you get it somewhere else. So be sure to hit the like button and share and comment.
Shit, Otaku makes a good point here. Don't call him a jackass. If you claim a jackass is talking, he'll take it as proof you agree with his bullshit. Reference to the Bible having a talking donkey in it. Damn, you're right.
And all that stuff, and subscribe to the channels and share this with a friend of yours, okay? Help us to open for free.
Oh, I'll share it with everyone who wants to hear my glorious message of this man's a piece of crap. And his opinions are wrong.
We've been open for free 9 years and 2 months now because people support us. We try to get the gospel out to everybody. And believe me, there's nobody hogging money here.
The more you complain about it, the more we know you're doing it, Kent.
Live in a cabin like everybody else, right, Joseph? Little 2-bedroom cabin right there. Okay. You can, if you want to become a member, call 855-BIG-DINO or just start giving $31 a month or any amount you want to. drdino.com. Okay, open for free. Visitors from all over.
Yeah. And you know the score. You want to help my stuff. Super chats, super thanks, Patreon, channel memberships, other ways. Check out the links down below. You know the score. Let's continue.
Our video series on the Creation Seminar series is by far the best seller. If you want to get that, $50 for the whole thing. You can watch it, return it, get your money back. Or get our series on what on earth is about to happen. Watch what's happening in Israel, folks. You can see it coming true just by reading your Bible.
You know, honestly, now think about it. In the next couple of months, maybe I should order an actual copy of those DVDs and just go over the actual production quality of the set and then return it. Let's do a video on it. That would be pretty cool. Although, watch, the process of trying to return it is probably actually a pain in the ass. That's probably one of the gotchas with it.
And see how it matches up. We are straight north of Pensacola and right across I-65 in a little bitty town of Lenox. Bring your church group, youth group, call Titus if you want to get a cabin. Everything's free. We'll all put you up, and if you stay too long, we'll put you to work. Okay? How are your kids liking it here? Your kids are loving it here? Oh, yeah. Yeah. It really is a blast. Lots of friendly.
Yeah, I've noticed always, are the kids loving it? Adults ain't loving it. The kids sure are.
Animals, you got emus you can pet, and all kinds of fun stuff to do. Jeep. We're looking for a fourth Jeep. If you see one, a 4-door Wrangler. We'll take the doors off, take the roof off. I use 3 quite often in my tours, and it's going to kill my voice. I have to do 3 tours a day. So I'd like to get 4 Jeeps and only do 2 tours a day. So please, if you spend another one. The yellow one is a 07. The black one behind it is an 08, and the one in front of it's a 19. We'll take anything.
Oh, wow. He actually said it the more consistent way in 08, 07, and a 19. Good job, Kent. He had said something in a way that my pedantic ass kind of agrees with. Alright, thumbs up. Yo, it is seriously fucked up. I just was reminded that it's Wednesday. 4 days I'll be potentially face to face with this asshole.
Come visit. Joseph, did you ever get that thing to play, that whole video clip that guy made?
Yeah. Like 4 seconds long.
It's pretty cool, yeah. Done with AI. Anyway, we do a lot of shows on our, we want to get a lot of material out there to help strengthen your faith in the Word of God. Come visit.
And we want to get a lot of material out there to let people know that it's okay to ridicule this garbage, and it's okay to acknowledge that people like Kent Hovind are absolute pieces of shit. I also have other interests, but I'm waiting for a little bit before I get into doing videos on those subjects again. I want everything to be just right. So right now, the focus is still on this buffoonery.
Visit Dinosaur Adventure and take the real tour. Turning this old abandoned gravel pit into the awesome, life-changing Dinosaur Adventureland.
Also, I know we all know this, but man, the constant, self-gratification for the first 5 minutes of every one of his fucking streams gets really old.
9 years, all with volunteers and donations from people who love the Lord. It's been amazing to watch God pull it together. Our science center, 12,000 square feet, lots of cool science experiments in there. Let's see, our dining hall, we feed 3,000 meals a month. We need a mechanic to come here that likes to fix things. And if he happens to be married to a wife who can cook, we need a cook at the same time. Get 2 birds with 1 stone. Come help us finish the Ark. We'd like to finish this summer. Got a guy, talk to Brett Lyons at Lyons Metal Roofing in Piney Flats, Tennessee. He's bringing the metal down, hopefully the next 2 days. So I'll be praying about that.
Did Noah's Ark have a metal roof? Did the real one? Then why does yours? Also, I can't help but notice that your ark is literally a building. It's not a boat. It's a whole fucking building.
Let's get to work. Get all them beams up, okay? All right. Got to finish the other half of the Ark. Okay.
And that's not an ark. That's just poles in the dirt, Hovind.
Okay. In this Saturday, we're leaving Friday afternoon, going to drive it late at night, stay in Kentucky.
Wow. You're leaving Friday afternoon? So am I. This is incredible. What a coincidence. Oh, dear God. There's a non-zero chance that, depending on how things go, Seth and I might be on the road right beside Hovind. Also, where does that... Okay. Wow, that's just all over. Okay, whatever.
And then be there Saturday morning to get the world's largest crab, horseshoe crab. The guy's donating it to us. So I need several folks with...
Otaku with another good one. Awesome. Life-changing Dino Adventureland. Yeah, I guess losing a child on your own life counts as life-changing. Certainly. And yeah, Ken Hams is also literally a building with a boat-shaped facade. It's ridiculous.
The truck and maybe a trailer to meet us at Hillsboro, Ohio. Just Google world's largest horseshoe crab. And at about, we're going to probably before 3 p.m. I should change that. July 5th. We're going to do it.
This is true. Ark does mean box and not necessarily boat.
Whenever we get there, we're probably going to get there before noon. All the world's largest crab, all the parts back to Lennox. Or if you can't come that day, but you can come get it later, we're paying a guy $900 to come with an excavator to lift the parts onto the trailer. So it'd be nice if you could come that day, even if you can't bring it to Lennox that day. Meet us there, get it loaded up, take it to your house. It comes apart, big fiberglass, comes apart in pieces, and we'll put it on there. Let's see, we have a donor who will give $300 to each one who helps us for gas to get down here, okay? Bring it down anytime. There it is, the world's largest horseshoe crab. And boy, I've been reading up on this, Joseph. This is going to be quite an attraction. We're going to make the atheists really wonder, how on earth did this thing evolve? Yeah.
No. You know, Kent, the evolution of most every existing species is pretty damn well understood. Save for really oddball, usually extremophiles, that we don't totally have prior specimens of, so we don't know exact details. But there's a lot you can infer. We don't question evolution like you think we do.
So We need somebody with a trailer to help us.
Also, evolutionist isn't a thing, but I'm just ignoring that and responding to you and only bringing it up now because I feel it's necessary. Lest someone be like, uh-oh, Yamato acknowledged evolutionism. No.
Called Krabby from Ohio to Lennox. We need metal for Noah's roof from Piney Flats. It looks like he's going to get it himself this week, but sometimes he's always willing to give us metal for a building. So please, if you're ever coming from Tennessee this way and can bring some, please call.
And as a reminder for context, I am right there. Right there is where I am. So Lennox is there, that's there, Krabby's there, the ARC protest is somewhere up here. I've been through here, I've been up there, I've been everywhere. Where? Never been to Louisiana, though. And only cut through a bit of Missouri, but yeah. I'm here, and then I'm going to be there.
Call me, okay? We need a load of stuff hauled from Dallas to Lennox. There's a friend of mine there who cleans swimming pools for millionaires. And they always giving him stuff. Hey, you need a weed eater, you need a chainsaw, you need this, you need that.
5 minutes of this 30-minute video is Hovind's preamble.
Got a whole closet or a whole packet, what do you call it? Anyway, he's got a bunch of stuff. Come on down. Call me if you're coming this way. Don't want to help, give me a call. Nehemiah said the people had a mind to work. I love that. That's me. I like to get stuff done. The desire accomplished.
I like to get stuff done. Are you Judge Dredd? I am the law.
Is sweet to the soul. Some of you are grouches in life because you don't do anything.
Yeah, like you, Hovind. You say you do a lot, but you don't seem to do shit except boss people around.
Don't get anything accomplished. Okay, today's Psalm 136. The last day of the month. Let me go.
And I get plenty accomplished. You should see the beauty that is the BSD server I've been working on. How nicely it's been compacted into a utility closet. How just smooth it's working. And how well I'm adapting to the nuances of BSD. Being still only a relative intermediate novice with Linux.
Back to, nope, let's see, 757, I think. Yep, there we go. His steadfast love endures forever. Oh, give thanks unto the Lord, for he is good, for his mercy
I did for that tiny moment, and then I went back because no one wants to hear me sing.
Endureth forever. Every verse in this psalm is probably a song they would sing back and forth, a chorus. One group sings the first half, the other group sings his mercy endureth forever, because that's in every verse. Okay. Give thanks unto the God of gods, for his mercy endureth forever. Give thanks to the Lord of lords, for his mercy endureth forever. To him alone who doeth great wonders, his mercy endureth forever.
Oh God, yeah, I didn't think about that. Greenwaldy with a great comment. Gonna laugh my ass off if Hovind gets pulled over for transporting Krabby without flagging it as an oversized load. Oh man. Yeah, that's gonna be great. Krabby ain't making it to Linux. Not without Hovind shelling out money. Watch. The less, if Krabby does make it, the less he actually talks about it. The actual transit will be a sign of just how much he actually spent on professionals to move it. That he doesn't want to admit to.
Forever. To him that by wisdom made the heavens, plural. Genesis 1:1.
Oh, but can't, you said if your book says heavens, throw it away. So you got to throw away your King James. It says heavens.
Should be singular, because later in the next couple verses, he slices it up into 3 slices. But if your Bible has heavens.
No. Oh, or are you talking about the water from the waters and the water and the water and the firmament and the water and the flat earth? Because that's what it says.
Plural in the first verse, it's wrong. Throw it away, get a King James. Him that stretched out the earth above the waters, for his mercy endureth forever. This is where carbon dating comes in.
All I'm gonna think is, I wish I had Krabby in my backyard. That thing be fucking awesome, man. Slip a typewriter under there and just go to town. Inspiration. Write a story from a, half a billion-year-old horseshoe crab's perspective.
Scoffers do not understand how God made the original creation.
No, we do understand what the story says very well. It's stupid is the problem. I don't get this either, saying scoffers just don't know, saying people don't know. No, Kent, everyone's heard this shit. Everyone has heard this shit. It's stupid. And some of us are just going to call it out for what it is. Just like you, fucking stupid.
It says in 2 Peter there would be scoffers who would be ignorant of how God made the heavens and how the earth was standing out of the water and in the water. He stretched out the earth above the waters. What it says, see, the original creation was very different than what you and I are seeing. We're living in a junkyard after Noah's flood messed it up. So in my video number 2, I cover things like what did he eat before the flood? What's the 1,000-year reign of Christ going to be like? Where did all the water come from? Where did it go? Were there giant people over 10 feet tall? Yes, there really were. Okay. Here it is, 2 Peter.
There's all this crazy shit. Yeah, totally true. Totally true.
Knowing this first, there shall come in the last days scoffers, walking after their own lust and saying, where's the promise of his coming?
Yes, lust, like you and that woman who was interviewing you, and the audio we have of what you were doing while watching that interview. Yeah. But, you know, where the horrible ones, Kent.
Since the fathers fell asleep, all things continue as they were from the beginning of the creation. For this they willingly are ignorant of. In the Hebrew or Greek, that means dumb on purpose. That by the word of God, the heavens were of old. By the time he got done with day 7, it was heavens plural. But in day 1, verse 1, it was heaven singular. Get a King James. And how the earth was standing out of the water and...
Don't. Even if it's water, you'll end up suffering... whatever the technical name for that condition where you're overhydrated is and your body begins to shut down. You know, it happened to that one woman who was trying to win a Nintendo Wii. Yeah. That thing. Don't do it. Because every time Hovind coughs, you take a drink, you're going to be super hydrated to the point where your body can't even do chemical reactions anymore. Just nope. Too much water.
And in the water. How is that?
Isn't that crazy? You know, too much water can be dangerous for you, but it really makes sense when you understand the basic chemistry.
That possible? We'll talk about that in a minute. Also, they're ignorant that the world was overflowed with water and perished. They're ignorant of this flood. And the heavens which are now are...
Yeah, sorry, Otaku. I'm getting better at that. Now, usually, I forget to mute.
The same word are kept in store, reserved unto fire, the judgment of God, okay? So they're ignorant of the creation. They're ignorant of the flood. They're ignorant of the coming judgment of God. And it's coming.
Okay, you know what? I'm just going to do something real quick. Yeah, we're just going to go... We're just going to look up ignorant here. Ignorant generally means lacking knowledge or information about something, often due to lack of education or experience. So, no, Kent, by definition, no one is ignorant of your creation, your flood, or any of your shit. We're aware of it. It's stupid. Get the fuck over it.
So he said, and God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it, that would be the firmament, divide the waters from the waters. Well, what divides the water from the water? Some people say, well, it's the dirt, the continents. No.
Well, partially. The wee thing was, the problem was the overhydration, and not using the restroom was, it added to that because it eliminated the ability to, well, eliminate and try to maintain some level of balance. But the reason was too much water.
Keep reading, verse 20. God said, let the waters bring forth abundantly, and fowl, that's birds, that fly above the earth in the open firmament. Well, there's the answer.
Wow. He had to explain to us what fowl were. I think I know what fowl are, Kent.
The birds don't fly in the dirt. The birds fly in the air. God said in verse 14, let the be lights in the firmament. This is the second heaven.
Yeah, that's honestly probably the best out of Kent's shirt selection, by far. I like that one.
Where the lights are, sun, moon, and stars, okay?
Oh, in case you didn't know, I've got a sort of Hawaiian shirt. It's not quite the same, but it's right in the vein. It's a little more subdued that I'm going to be wearing to the art protest as kind of a parody of Hovind. So that's going to be a thing. If you're in Kentucky Atheist Discord, I had posted a picture of it.
And Paul said he was caught up to the third heaven. The only time it's mentioned in the Bible that I know of. So the heavens, plural, declare the glory of God. All right, back to Genesis 1. God made the firmament and divided the waters that were under the firmament, to be under the atmosphere, from the waters which are above the atmosphere where the birds fly.
Oh, no, Kent. No, Kent. The firmament is a firm structure. The atmosphere is not the firmament.
Huh.
You're the one who obsesses over a crystal canopy. The firmament is the crystal canopy you're obsessed with. What the fuck are you on about?
In Psalm 148, God said, "Praise him, ye heavens of heavens, and ye waters that be above the heavens."
Yeah, they thought space, what we know now as space, was filled with water. That's their view of things. We were a fucking hemispherical snow globe, a flat land with a big dome over it, water all up there. That's what these people thought. That's not, debatable either. Other context, other documents from these cultures, other facts known about these cultures corroborate that understanding of cosmology, which is depicted in this book, since this book is a product of those primitive cultures.
Maybe there's another layer of
Remember, all the theocrats out there basically want us to live based on the edicts of some culture from several thousand years ago, because
water or ice, I believe, beyond all the stars. Everybody's always wondering, where's the last star? Yeah, and if they find
no one's wondering that, Kent.
it, then what? What's the next question? What's after that? How far does this universe go? How can you atheists not understand? This is infinite. This didn't all fit in a dot of nothing exploding. You are insane to believe that. Dumb.
Yeah, Grunwaldi. So what Kent was doing there is he says that the original text, if it says heavens, is incorrect, even though it can be understood to be correct by some principles I'll say in a sec. In Genesis 1, heavens is incorrect, but then it's split. He's treating it as a literal chronology rather than some common interpretations, which state that in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth, is establishing what you're talking about. And then it goes into detail on that, which is the interpretation I'd take for the story, since the heavens translation is what it is. Also, I prefer the exact reading from the Apollo 8 mission back in 1968. I find the reading of Genesis in that to be a beautiful moment, albeit a religious one nonetheless, but also a symbolic one for the moment that I still place some value in, insofar as those people, the crew of Apollo 8, expressing some way of expressing the feeling they had in that moment, how beautiful it was, and how it made them reflect on reality. I thought like bringing that up, because when do I get to mention Apollo 8?
Theory. I think maybe everything we see is in a little glass ball on God's dresser. All the stars, all the planets, everything. God picks it up, shakes it once in a while. How you doing in there, guys? I don't know. But
I'm just going to use this completely anthropomorphized thing for something that doesn't actually exist, doesn't have a body. Does God have a body? Does God have a cock and balls, Kent? Real question. Does God have a cock and balls? Right? I need you to answer that.
there used to be a layer of air and then crystal canopy above that, maybe 10 miles up. And I think there might still be one.
Otaku, with technically space, does have a lot of water in it. Yeah, but it's not like just a giant ocean. Yeah. It's mostly empty. The empty should be ocean in their model. That's what I'm saying.
Way out there beyond the stars. Don't know. But the earth was standing out of the water and in the water.
Otaku brings up Seventh Heaven. Yeah, I was thinking that one too. Here they are, the kind of guy Kent likes to hang out with. Mm-hmm.
Today, the atmosphere we're breathing has 6 layers to it. There used to be a 7th layer, a layer of ice above. I think it compressed all the air down into probably 10 miles, nearly doubling atmospheric pressure at the surface. I know if you go up when I fly airplanes and go over to Alaska or something, they get way up there. You look at the little TV screen in front of you and it says outside temperature minus 100. That's over the Sahara Desert, it's minus 100. Okay, it's called a heat sink up there. So
it's called a no, Kent. No. I don't have the energy to go over it with video, Kent, on what a heat sink is.
Earth has an atmosphere. I believe there was a crystalline canopy. Now, some creationists do not believe this. They are wrong. I am right, okay? About 10 miles up that made the pre-flood world.
Not going to read it, but if you're listening to this video and not watching it, you definitely want to pop up and look real quick, because Otaku's comment is spot on. I just don't feel like reading. I'm gonna fucking read it. Who am I kidding? My streams are always a dumpster fire. Follow-up question: if God has a cock and balls, can he experience cock and ball torture? Find out next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Very different. This is one of the many reasons why they lived to be 900 before the flood. Take a look at the chart. Get the dates from Genesis chapter.
Should I ask him that at the protest? If I can get $50 this stream, I'll do it. There's a goal. Donate generously, and I will make sure to get a recording of asking Kent Hovind, does God have a cock and balls?
Chapter 5 and Genesis chapter 11. In Genesis 5, it says Adam was 130 when Seth was born, and he lived to be 930. Everybody before the flood is living to be 900. After the flood, it drops off to 400, and then 200, and then 100. That canopy that used to protect them collapsed at the time of the flood. You get these charts, what, $10? What's the whole package of them cost?
Buy my charts. Buy my charts. I could just put the PDF online and you make them yourself, but nope, buy them.
If you want 6 of them for your placemats, $30 or something. Got a special deal. Call the secretary, 855 Big Dino. We have real heavy laminate. They're perfect when your skeptic friends come for lunch. What's it?
And he's always got to do that voice. Who's this? Like you're fucking idiots. I wouldn't know anybody who'd have those, and if I did go somewhere and someone seriously had those down as placemats, I would immediately leave, because they're obviously far, far too stupid for me to be friends with, and somehow I just didn't get the memo.
I'm not eating off of that.
Off of debt. Talk like you got some sense, Kent.
Yeah, I know. Okay. So this crystal canopy was probably ice, not a vapor, and it would block some of the harmful radiation that comes from the.
Otaku with another follow-up. Or does he insist God is male because he believes God has a cock and balls and denies that God could still be a woman? Inquiring minds want to know.
Sun. X-ray and UV radiation is blocked by a couple inches of ice. Maybe it was held up like an inflatable building, just air pressure. If there's no leaks in it, it can keep itself up there.
Kent and other creationists following this bill, next door neighbor, seem to think that it just reached a new sort of equilibrium. But then they'll say things like we're losing 2% of our genetic code each generation and shit that makes no sense. And when you extrapolate the math, it's just insane. Like, they go way overboard. And the whole thing with the biblical ages, I think my understanding is supposed to be that the way they measured things, it isn't actual years. It was another repeated pattern, and something changed over time. And so what happened conveniently with the story is that when they started counting different ways, they didn't accommodate, they didn't compensate. Oh, the 34 seasons suddenly becomes 8 years or whatever, and then they don't compensate for it. Something to that effect. It's too early in the day, but Hovind doesn't require my full brain. Most of that's devoted to BSD. I'm literally working on my system in the background as I do the stream.
Or it could be held up by the Earth's magnetic field. I cover all this on video number 7. In video number 2. Okay. The Meissner effect is where a magnet floats on top of another magnet. And super cold ice becomes magnetic. At low temperatures, ice is magnetic. The fact that ice is diamagnetic can be demonstrated by hanging an icicle from a very thin string and bring a strong magnet to it. The icicle will twist away from the magnet. Yeah.
Yes, if you are going to the Ark encounter, look for me. I'll probably have my NASA hat, probably be masked up, just because. Little enigmatic there. You can't it's this voice and this accent and this bombastic way of talking is completely impossible to not recognize. And I'm sure people will be being like, "Hey, Chris, have you met this person? Have you met this person?" I'll be like, "Hi, how you doing? Good to see you. Too many people. Need to go in a corner." So yeah, I'll be there.
Ice is if it's cold enough, is affected by the magnetic field. The Japanese have magnetic levitation.
that has nothing to do with ice. Also, any sufficiently advanced society has that technology.
Greater effect. I don't want to take time on all this. Magnetic
Then why'd you put it in your fucking slideshow?
ice slides into view. Physics world. Okay. Scientists create magnetic charge ice. Let's see. Magnetic charge ice is published May 20th issue of Science magazine. Wikipedia. Spin ice. Yet the magnetic moments in the temperature range really cold, 0 Kelvin. Okay. Now that's absolute zero, pretty close. Can a permanent magnet become too cold to function? Cooling permanent magnets make them stronger magnets. So this is all, I think.
Yeah, I'll be doing some kind of streaming or something from the protest, and while we're at the just doing the socializing that happens pre and post event. No particular plans. Just gonna do what comes natural.
Nobody argues about the science behind this. Ice clouds forming from the shuttle's exhaust drift up to the North and South Pole because they're attracted magnetically because they're ice. The Jews have always
Wait, what? Hang on.
It's about the science behind this.
Ice clouds forming from the shuttle's exhaust drift towards the what? What, Kent? I mean, fucking maybe. Not really, but whatever. Also from 6/12/03, you mean 5 months after the Columbia disaster? If this wasn't in, fucking, if I hadn't seen fucking tiny pocket televisions with better resolution than this in the 80s, I'd look into this a little further. But so far, I just see a yellowish blob with some green lines, blue blob, a picture of something with like sand over there, black section, another small picture, and then maybe a shuttle. I don't know. What the fuck, Kent?
Ice clouds forming from the shuttle's exhaust drift up to the North and South Pole.
Also, look at how he's so out of touch. Look at how he talks about the shuttle as if, some people, younger people would be watching his content, even know what the fuck that is. If they're not too busy slobbing on SpaceX's knob and the like, thinking that's the first reusable things ever. I mean, the shuttle ain't flown since 2011. It's in 14 fucking years. Come on, Kent. Come the fuck on. There are adults now who wouldn't actually remember the shuttle program. They would have been just slightly too young to have any memory of it.
Because they're attracted magnetically, because they're ice. The Jews have always taught, in the book of Josephus, you can see that he wrote his story about the same time as Christ. It says, he set the heaven above the universe, surrounding it with ice. Huh. Another translation said,
why do we do this to ourselves? Well, while I do have fun ripping into this ass clown, it does get monotonous as all hell. But there is one nice little thing that helps with the whole thing. And that is the fact that thanks to the magic of Google Ads, I can earn money. Oh, so you only do it for the money. It's why you're atheist. You do for the money. No. That's why I put out the number of videos I do. That's why I produce the amount of content I do. I could produce one a month and still be just as valid on criticizing Kent. It's just, this became my shtick until I go to do something else. So, the fact that it helps pay some bills makes it a little tolerable. Excuse me.
he placed a crystalline firmament around it. And the Jews have said it was, I don't know how they know this, but they said it was 3 fingers thick, 2 fingers thick. I don't know. They probably split the church. Started the church of the 2 fingers and the church of the 3 fingers.
Wow, that wasn't disturbing at all. It's almost as if Kent is aware of how religion boils down to basically there's a different branch of every religion for every person who follows that religion.
They split over everything. Anyway, it says
yeah, not like the Christians that are all unified.
Was a flattened solid surface.
By the way, did I mention Ken Hovind is an anti-Semitic piece of shit because he's an anti-Semitic piece of shit? Prove me wrong.
The Legend of the Jews book, he said, The second day God made the firmament is not the same as the heavens of the first day. It's the crystal stretched forth over the head.
What the hell does it matter what this guy says? I thought all that mattered was the book. So it's okay for this guy to tell you what the Bible says when we tell you what the Bible says. No, it's fucking wrong. Bible says the earth's fucking flat, Kent. How about I write it in some book that sounds pretty damn anti-Semitic as well?
He made to crystallize into a solid. The firmament is not more than 3 fingers thick, and a layer of ice surrounding the world 10 miles up would act like an igloo, which keeps the heat in. Igloos can be 49 below outside and 61 degrees in your igloo. Otherwise, there wouldn't be any Eskimo babies ever. Okay. Does ice stop UV light?
Here we go. 15 minutes in. Well, 14 minutes, 13 seconds. And he's about to go off on a rant of carbon dating. Everybody load up your terminal program of choice, log into whatever server you want to, and do some routine server maintenance while Kent says something stupid. I'm going to I'm going to issue an update on my BSD box and see if there's anything to update. Sudo got an update on Debian. I thought that was interesting. But now I'm just crossing the streams talking about Linuxy and Unixy stuff when we should be focusing on Hovind. That tells you where my mind's at right now. I'm kind of in a mode of just wanting to work on computer science. But yeah, let's get to this stuff. Delayed the inevitable.
Does not completely stop it. It can absorb and scatter some of it. So here's the deal. Carbon, atomic number 6, occurs in nature predominantly in the stable isotope carbon-12 and carbon-13. 98.989% of the carbon in their atmosphere is carbon-12. A very tiny, tiny, tiny amount is carbon-14. Its most important radioactive isotope is carbon-14, a weak beta emitter having a half-life of 5,700 years.
A what, Kent?
A tiny, tiny amount is carbon-14. Its most important radioactive isotope is carbon-14.
All right, we're doing the thing. Thank you to AJ for doing this in one stream. I have milked it as best I can. If I may take a moment, people will call me just a clone of AJ when that's not entirely true. AJ was definitely the inspiration to do these particular styles of videos, and especially to eventually just go straight into the constant live reacts. But I'm also heavily inspired by Professor Dave in his very direct and blunt way of presenting himself and his opinions. And even Matt Dillahunty for just the I don't give a fuck attitude. A bit of an amalgamation, but if you look at it, everyone's an amalgamation of the people who inspire them, the friends they meet along the way, and whatever predispositions they have from their genetic heritage. And that's fine. That's how things work. Hovind is a unique case because he has no friends, so he's just some rambling idiot who's kind of left to his own devices. Like, you notice he doesn't change ever. Whereas if you go back to like old videos of mine from 10 years ago or something, there's noticeable changes in certain elements of how I talk, way I present myself, what I'm even interested in, and Hovind never matured. But let's hear how he said this again.
A weak beta emitter
Yep, a weak beta emitter. Beta emitter, Kent. Beta.
having a half-life of 5,700 years. It's formed naturally in the upper atmosphere by the action of cosmic rays on nitrogen, from ScienceDirect.com. So the nitrogen in the atmosphere, which is 78% of the atmosphere, is struck by these cosmic rays and converts it to carbon-14. The pre-flood world had an ice canopy to block out cosmic rays. Therefore, they had very little C14. So the plants are breathing in carbon dioxide, and today, a small amount is CO2, radioactive CO2. But before the flood, it was even less than that because it couldn't form. This is how the evolutionists just don't get it. It's so simple. The scoffers are ignorant of what the world was like.
Once again, we're not, because ignorant implies we don't know, but we've heard your stories ad nauseum, and that's just like your interpretation of what the world was like, man.
Crystal canopy ahead would block UV light, which prevents the formation of most of the C14. we dig up fossils that drowned in that flood and automatically would date them much older because we're
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm gonna be back at work this time next week. So it's gonna be just the weekend and Monday and Tuesday. Um, but yeah, it's gonna be fun. And yeah, yeah. Just this is gonna be an experience. I kind of can't believe it's happening, but people want me there. I ain't used to that. Hey, Chris, you need to come to this thing. We're gonna make sure you come to this thing. It's like, okay, guess I'm just being kidnapped. Wait. Yeah, but I'm a hell of a lot nicer than Matt Dillahunty. No, no. Oh, well, okay. I know people have had personal issues with Matt Dillahunty, and I think AJ had brought up his blunt rudeness at points. So I guess, yeah. I don't know. I'm on Matt's good side, so I'm not gonna. I don't know. I don't know. AJ sings, yeah. I can call you a clone, more like an alternate universe version of AJ. Sarcasm. Will even igloos need a heat source? It isn't just going to be 61 degrees inside an igloo just because. Yeah. Yeah, no, you have to have a heat source for that. Laura pops up with beta. I wasn't going to say it, but someone would. Just going to take a break before Kent continues. Yeah, Kent prove there was a canopy. It's so simple. The laws of physics didn't work before 4,400 years ago. I don't know why the atheist can't understand it. Kent doesn't deal in proof. He can only make claims or lie about opponents. Yep, that's it.
starting with today's percentage. Radiation strikes from the sun, strikes the atmosphere.
And at some point, I really need to go through a summarized form of the whole carbon dating debacle. Like, I had ChatGPT write something up nice for me, but it's buried in my thousands of GPT conversations on all kinds of things.
Produces radioactive carbon-14 that combines with oxygen to make radioactive CO2. A very tiny plants breathe it in, make it part of their tissue. Animals eat the plants and make it part of their body. I bet during your lifetime you've either eaten plants or you've eaten animals that have eaten plants for probably just about every meal you've ever had, okay? Willard Libby invented.
Yeah, Kent, that's kind of how it works. The vast majority of life on the planet, and I mean that as in everything except for the extremophiles that live near thermal vents and a few other specialty case organisms, all the energy is technically solar. The energy you, I, and all of our audience are using right now in their bodies, the source of that energy was stellar fusion. Pretty fucking wild. But the way the food chain works, be it carnivores are going to eat herbivores eventually, herbivores are going to eat plants, plants get their energy via photosynthesis. Photon is a key element of that. That's really the energy provider, and all the other stuff is a way of binding that energy, of getting it into a chemical form that can be worked with. Yeah. Every human is solar powered. Passively. Love it.
Invented this back in the 1940s after the atomic bomb. He said, wow, produces carbon-14. Carbon-14. Here's the way it works. The atmosphere is 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen, 0.06% CO2. And that's what the plants have to live off of. That's why there are all these morons talking about, oh, look at the carbon emissions from all these fossil fuel burning plants. Yeah, the trees all around that area go crazy. They love it. They have.
Kent, plants can only process so much carbon at once. There's literally only so much that they can process. Also, most of the oxygen on Earth, which is a direct result of the photosynthetic process, and thus most of the photosynthesis on Earth, and thus most of the carbon cycling going on the Earth, happens in the oceans via algae. So it's not the trees getting super happy. They get a bit of a benefit, but even they can only do so much. There's still copious amounts being put into the atmosphere than can be processed out. And that's where the problem is. The balance of what was once locked up in the fossil fuel reservoirs, that potential energy, is now kinetic energy in the atmosphere in the form of heat, in the form of those waste particles. That's a problem. Weather is a thermodynamic system, and as you add more energy to it, it's like pushing somebody on a swing. There comes a point, if you push hard enough, things destabilize. And that's the way we're going. Balance is lost. It's really that simple. But of course, you, being a kindergarten dropout, wouldn't understand this.
Absorb it right away. You don't need to go block the highway and let somebody run you over because you're too stupid to get out of the way because you're trying to save the planet from carbon emissions. Okay. Carbon 14, the radioactive part, is 0.0000765%. This is the percent of C14 in the atmosphere today. If the pre-flood world had a protection from cosmic rays, there'd be even less than 0.0000. So we dig.
Ambushed Apostate is not around at the moment. I am certain he's working or taking care of family stuff. He is who I'm riding to the protest with. So I mean, there'll be a lot of he and I together. There will probably be mini video after mini video of me and him just talking along the way. That's kind of a plan. It's gonna be a lot of content coming from this thing. It's gonna be impressive.
Them up and we're dating them by today's standard, which is stupid. Here's an analogy might make you help, okay? Might help you understand. Let's say we have 128 soap bubbles formed by
Next door neighbor with a good comment. By the way, thanks to overfishing, the bottom of the sea is getting messed up. A lot of the algae in the ocean is getting lost, making global warming worse. Ooh, I hadn't thought about that, but yeah. Yeah, the whole damn ocean ecosystem's getting fucked up, not just from climatic change itself, but overfishing and the ways we fish. Ooh. Oh man, that hurts to think about. This planet's fucked.
cosmic rays in a room. Half of them will pop every 6,000 years. I rounded the 5730 up. Okay. So in 6,000 years, we will have 64 bubbles left. The others popped. Wait another 12,000 or another 6,000 years, it's only.
This juvenile ass way of talking about this stuff. You might be like, oh, well, it's an analogy. It's like, well, he's supposed to be talking to adults who are supposed to be smart and should be able to understand the actual science. But even he can't understand the actual science, so he has to dumb this shit down.
32, then 16, then 8, then 4, then 2.
Also, Kent, since I'm now thinking about it again, I don't know if I'm past a point where it'd be good to say or if I'm preempting a point, but here's the thing, Kent. If carbon dating isn't reliable, then we shouldn't get any ages at all that are not within the 6,000 year range. We shouldn't get older date ranges. But we do. That's the entire problem. Everything should show very recent death, or everything should show very old. One or the other, depending on the way someone wants to look at it. There shouldn't be an actual graduated range with things that can actually be carbon dated to an actual time point, which again is specific, formerly living specimens of a certain age. Because you do have to account for problems that will throw rates off. And that's what the scientists actually do, because they know what they're doing.
So if we test a sample and find, wow, that room's only got 2 soap bubbles, got to be 36,000 years. If you start with 164, yes. Now let's enter a room, we find only 4 soap bubbles. We don't know the room was protected from cosmic rays and only had 8 to start with, not 164. Using today's standard, we will date the room at 30,000 years old. But it's actually only had 1 half-life. It's only 6,000 years old. If we started with 164, then these numbers would apply. But the pre-flood world had a canopy.
Then we wouldn't ever get any young values, according to your logic, Kent. But we do. Why?
Overhead, And you don't start with today's numbers. How much did they have when they were there? So carbon-14 is based on the assumption. You know how much was in it when it lived. You can't know that. You know how much, you know it's always decayed at the same rate. There's things that affect that. Watch my video number 7, where I give a whole lot more on carbon dating. So I think this layer of ice was suspended like a magnetic, by the magnetic field or hyperbaric inflatable building. Okay. Current air, let's see. He founded the earth upon the seas and established it upon the floods. He layeth up the depth in storehouses. The depth is always a reference to the ocean. Hast thou entered into the springs of the sea, walked in search of the depth? Proverbs chapter 8. He set a compass upon the face of the depth. Isaiah, ask a sign. Ask it in the depth or in the height above. God said, ask a sign. You want something in the ocean or in the air?
Here's your sign, Kent. Giving you the middle finger right now. You can't see it, but I'm giving it to you. Fucker.
The Lord said to Ahaz in Isaiah, let's see, ask a sign. Ask it in the depth or the height. The Lord himself shall give you
Height.
a sign. A virgin shall conceive and bear a son. This is the birth of Jesus Christ. In the book of Jonah, Jonah prayed unto the Lord his God out of the whale's belly and said, he cast me into the deep.
And you remember, Hovind isn't in it for the money. Except every time anyone mentions anything, Joseph's got to frantically click the right buttons. You know, so carbon dating shows up, and the stupid slides, and the chart of the end times, and the giant gold naked man. Hovind loves the giant gold blue naked man.
The midst of the sea. The waters compassed me, even to the soul, the depth closed about me. So obviously the depth is talking about the oceans, okay? Jesus said, if you offend a child by teaching him evolution, I added that part, you'd be better off drowned in the depth of the sea. So he stretched out the earth above.
Hey, notice it said drowned and not drowned. English, motherfucker, do you speak it?
The waters. The water that's now on the surface in the oceans used to be in the crust of the earth. So the original creation had a crystal canopy of ice a few inches thick above the earth, above the atmosphere. An atmosphere maybe 10 or 15 miles. Nobody knows, I'm guessing. And then a crust of dirt and rocks to stand on, 10 or 15, 20 miles. And then water under the crust of the earth, probably 1.5 miles. Because the oceans today average 1.5 miles deep if the earth were completely covered. So the water under the crust came to the top. The canopy overhead got shattered when the fountains broke open. And ice being magnetic, it'd be dumped on the North and South Pole. I think the Ice Age happened at the beginning of the flood.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Hovind theory. In all its bullshittery. At least it's mostly self-consistent, but man.
And we cover all that on video number 6. Okay. In the 600th year, the same day, all the fountains of the great deep were broken up. I think we still have the scars today where that happened. The fault lines, they're all over the world. World earthquakes, almost all the earthquakes and volcanoes are right on the fault lines. I lived in Fairfield, California for 3 years. Got the San Andreas
Until the people kicked me out with pitchforks.
fault, the Hayward fault, the New Madrid fault. None of them are my fault, but there's all.
Kent, New Madrid is over north of me. Technically, I live on it. New Madrid fault and the source rift for it are some of the oldest structures still detectable on the planet, by the way. 5 miles below me is the side of a part where an ancient supercontinent tried to split apart good while back, and it's still not stable. That's fucking amazing. New Madrid ain't in California, you dumb shit.
The fountains of the deep is probably where the fault lines are today, where it burst forth. That water went shooting up, would launch rocks off the side and shatter the canopy. So the north, I'm going to wrap.
Sorry if I'm a little late, but catch you later, William.
Rabbit trail here, Joseph. I love these rabbit trails. Around the North and South Pole, there are very obvious effects of a glacier, glaciation, ice age. Yes, the ice age is true. When? At the beginning of the flood. It snowed on the North Pole probably 10 feet a minute and been pushing out toward the equator. But ice age effects are centered around the old magnetic North Pole, which is moving. Used to be in Canada. It came further south in America than it did in Russia. This is the ice was dumped on the poles, both of them, at the beginning of the flood. So that would take 400 years for that ice to melt back. So when Noah gets off the ark, the continents are larger because the oceans are smaller because the ice caps are bigger.
Oh, so that's how the kangaroos hop to Australia and why we don't find any kangaroo remains on the way. All right, got it.
Duh. Take a
Duh.
long time for all that to melt. That's why
Did he say dat again? I just want to make sure.
the continents are larger because the oceans are smaller because the ice caps are bigger. Duh. Take a long time for all that to melt.
Oh, no, he actually said that.
That's why they find underwater cities buried and underwater roadways. Huh.
Except they don't.
You think they built it underwater? No, they built it before the water came up. Duh. It's not complicated. The Bible has the answer. The flood did all that.
I should say they don't in the way he wants it to seem like they do.
So if you lowered the oceans 200 feet right now, out of 12,000 average, take 200 feet out, freeze it, stick it on the North and South Pole. You can walk anywhere in the world. You could walk to Australia. Walk if the oceans were 200 feet lower. Australia would be a peninsula off of Vietnam because the water's very shallow in here. There's a few deep spots. Walk around them. Anyway, so how to get off on all that. When the hot water came shooting out these fountains of the deep, I think the hot water would hit the water around it and kill everything within a certain radius. If you dump a gallon of boiling water into your aquarium, you're going to kill all the fish within a certain
God, what an asshole.
effective radius. That's why we find diatoms, super tiny creatures, by the quadrillions
Are they more complex than the space shuttle, Kent? I need to know.
that died and snowed to the bottom. Diatoms, ionized cellular organ, covered cell wall silica.
Yeah, fucking Walt Brown. You're Walt Brown and Ron Wyatt, and you just laugh and walk away.
Diatoms occur in hundreds. They can live in fresh as well as salt water and can even survive in soil. They occur in hundreds of different shapes, from 10 millionths to 150 millionths of a meter. They're pretty tiny. The diatomaceous ooze at the bottom of water bodies is formed by the sedimentation of dead diatoms. There's a diatom.
It's a Pringle chip.
Today, diatoms accumulate slowly. It would take 1,000 years to get an inch of diatoms. And yet they sell diatomaceous earth powder. You can buy it at any hardware store. It's used for swimming.
Maybe that's a nice little indication, just presuming those numbers are valid, that, if you can get a hold of that much of that stuff at once, that maybe, just maybe, they've been accumulating for many, many, many hundreds of thousands of years. Or, just one big old flood. That's why there's not a perfect layer of all of them around the planet.
Pool filters, detergents, fertilizer, insulation, soundproofing, all kinds of things, okay? It kills insects because it's such a fine powder. Insects breathe through their skin, through spiracles. It's stuck in the spiracle and it suffocates them. Diatoms plug the spiracle. I went to the world's largest diatomaceous earth quarry in Lompoc, California. There it is right there. Right near.
No, that's a sign. You would be the kind of fucking boomer who takes a photo of a goddamn city limits sign.
The San Andreas Fault. Interesting. There at Sea Light Corporation.
This picture's only 35 years old. See when I went?
A mountain made of trillions of diatoms. They mine it with huge machinery. It goes for hundreds of miles and is hundreds of feet thick. At the diatomaceous earth quarry, a remarkable discovery was made in 1976. They uncovered the fossil skeleton of a baleen whale, along with trillions of fish fossils. I forgot to bring them to it. I got a bunch in the museum. Fish fossils in diatomaceous earth, okay? The whale fossil was standing on end in the quarry.
Yeah, I actually want to seriously want to debate Ken Hovind on the complexity of the space shuttle. I would love to get into an in-depth discussion with him on that and just see what he has to say. He'd never do it, but, I could always call and prose it, and then when he denies it, say, Hovind's too chicken to debate me on the space shuttle.
It's 80 feet long. Now, the layers were all tilted, as well as the whale. So it probably whale died from the heat also and snowed to the bottom with the diatoms. Then the whole hill got lifted up, along the fountains along the fault line. So now,
why though, Kent? Why?
These layers are sloped. There's me cutting one open. Inside, you find trillions of fish.
Now look at this fucker, and then look at this fucker. Yep. And look at that fucking CRT. Yep. I did this back when I installed Windows 98 to my PC, and then I did this. Yeah. I still gotta show off these photos because all the best accomplishments in my life happened the last millennium.
Fish fossils. Look at all that. Those are all fish fossils. Samples of what soft tissue discovered in fossil in the Jurassic. There's no such thing as a Jurassic period. So you can Google diatomaceous earth and study that for yourself. They're gorgeous.
Hovind got triggered by a word.
Under the microscope, like incredible. You think that happened by chance? You're an idiot. Billions of fossils found in diatomaceous earth. You can buy bags of it. I think that happened along the fault line.
We get it. We get that this stuff exists, Kent. What are you fucking on about? You suck as a teacher. You suck as a preacher. You suck at everything. How in the fuck have you ever been successful? You are the poster child for failing upwards, and I don't understand it.
When the heat temperature changed rapidly from the hot water.
Hell, the fact that you can succeed is proof there's no fucking God.
Coming out from inside the earth, and fossils would snow to the bottom. Not just diatoms, all the dead fish, dead whales, dead everything. Back to Psalm 136. To him who alone doeth great wonders, for his mercy endureth forever. By his wisdom he made the heavens, and his mercy endureth forever. He stretched out the earth above the waters. Yep.
Was this supposed to be a Psalms reading? Because now he's just off in fucking Romans.
Used to be water in the crust, now it's on top, and used to be water above, and now it's down here. So we don't have a crystal canopy anymore. He made great lights, mercy endureth forever, the sun to rule the day, the moon and stars to rule the night. This psalm is a song they're singing back and forth. Tim, that.
So do the sun and the moon, are they gods? Do they have dominion? Does Jesus have to pay the moon protection money? So kids praying at night, can get the little messages sent or something, not the mail being interpreted. Nice theology you got there. It'd be a shame if something happened to the postal worker bringing the little children's prayers, and then the moon fucking busts his kneecaps out. I'm just saying.
Smote Egypt in their firstborn. His mercy endureth forever. He brought out Israel from among them. His mercy endureth forever. With a strong hand, with a stretched out arm, he divided the Red Sea into parts, and made Israel pass through the midst of it, but overthrew Pharaoh and his host. And yep, they sure did. They found the place where they crossed. You'd think if
No, they didn't.
the whole army crossed and got drowned in some place, they'd find some parts, skeletons
Yeah, but they didn't.
or parts of their chariots, and they sure did.
No, they didn't.
The waters were a wall unto them. Read Exodus 14. Moses held out the stick, the water parted, they walked across on
Give him the stick. Don't give him the stick.
dry ground. It was completely dry. God had a wind go through there and dried it all out. They found human rib cage, arm and hand preserved in the coral.
No, they didn't.
Ron Wyatt, and I believe he did find these things.
Of course you do. He didn't.
Okay, they found chariot wheels down at the bottom of the Red Sea, covered in coral mostly. Obviously, a chariot axle. Bible says God took off their wheels, and they crossed over to the right there. Not to the Red Sea comes up, or Dead Sea comes up, and Red Sea comes up and splits into two fingers. They crossed over in the one on the right. Watch video 7. I covered that. To him which led
I'm going to talk about this stuff, but go and watch my video.
his people through the wilderness. It goes to the history of Israel now. After they got away from Pharaoh, now they got to wander for 40 years. God has to feed them every day. His mercy endureth forever. He smote great.
Oh, boo fucking who. Magic Sky Daddy with infinite power has to feed the people he freed. Oh, pity the poor Sky Daddy. The fuck are you on about, Ken? He's got freedom. What the fuck are you on about, you fucking idiot?
Great kings. His mercy endureth forever. That would be the book of Joshua and Judges. He slew famous kings. His mercy endureth forever. Sihon, king of the Amorites. Og, king of Bashan, and gave their land for an heritage. That's why it's their land, guys. You Palestinians should.
Oh, here we go again. It's weird how we've got an anti-Semitic piece of shit here who's also, in some ways, a fucking Zionist. How does that work? Then again, he's a biblical literalist who's not a flat earther. So explain how that works.
To leave them alone. Okay. Quit trying to take their land. Even in heritage unto Israel.
Except it wasn't their land. I don't want to get into it further. I've talked about it before. It's a complex subject. One that really needs to not be an issue anymore, but that's as far as I'll say on the matter.
His servant, his mercy endureth forever. Who remembered us in our low estate, his mercy endureth forever. Oh, give thanks. Oh, he hath redeemed us from our enemies, his mercy endureth forever. Who giveth food to all flesh. That's an interesting verse. There's a cycle of food in this world that is, I think, impossible to evolve. The producers and let's see, you got the sun's energy producing the energy that they need for.
Yeah, after this, I've got another one planned. So, there's definitely going to be way too much stupid for one day, but I'm knocking these things out relatively early. Well, I'll probably do that one this afternoon.
The plants to grow for photosynthesis and makes the grass grow. The herbivores eat the grasses, plants do. The carnivores, which you weren't any before the flood came, they consume it's just a life cycle, goes around. So yeah, I think God designed it all. Okay, any questions or comments, brother? Sorry for going so long.
Yeah, you suck.
Hope Kent, you and the crew are doing well. My question is, did you know Billy Graham? Did you ever meet him? Never did. He touched my heart. Cried. I think it was a great man of God.
Oh yeah, didn't he die recently? Ha ha! Nice.
I think he did a lot of good. I have to disagree with him on a few theological things, but nothing.
Of course you do, because no one believes the crazy shit you do except your cult following. You're an outcast in your own group of outcasts.
Nothing major. He was an ally. During World War II, we were allies with the Russians. We disagreed with them on some things, but we had a bigger enemy to fight called Hitler. So
the Soviets, not the Russians. There is a difference.
It's okay to have allies. I'm an independent fundamental Baptist, okay, to the core. But some of them are so independent, they're even independent from God. They knock it off, guys. You can be friends with other religions. It's okay. Okay, let's see. I've been following you for years, Walter. So has the KGB, the FBI, the Gestapo, the IRS. They're all following me.
Gotta say the same shit all the time. Hovind's persecuted. I'm on watch lists. You're not that important, Kent, beyond the tax issue.
Let's see. Appreciate your words, bringing the truth to light. Well, thank you. Please spread it around. Is it true the water currently in the firmament? No. Well, the air we're breathing that's humidity. It'll hold a certain percentage.
Oh, Swaggart's the one who died recently. Okay. Fuck him too.
And then it starts to drip out, either with a drizzle or dew or rain or snow or.
Still waiting on Jim Baker to kick the bucket. And Peter. Oh, no, I wasn't muted. That was just the thing moving over. Still waiting on Jim Baker and Peter Popoff to kick the bucket.
How else does it come out? Anyway, yeah, there's water in the firmament. That's it. Brother, I can hardly talk. I wore it out today. Help us move Krabby. Meet us up there in Hillsboro, Ohio, this Saturday. You got a truck or a car that'll
help us move Krabby. Help us move Krabby.
Pull a trailer, bring a trailer, load up a few parts, and come down to Dinosaur Adventureland. We'll give you $300 for gas and put you up here for a few days. Take your vacation. 4th of July weekend. It's this Saturday. So need some help. All right, see you then. Bye.
Go to hell, Kent. Oh, wait, you live in the middle of bumfuck Alabama. You're already there. All right. That's been Hovind. It was one of the streams of all time. Yeah, it was more of a synopsis on the Hovind theory. Got a few laughs. He's perpetually stupid. I don't know what else to add. I mean, how do you react to that? And what's really horrible is later on today, I'm going to do his stream from last night because I feel the need to, be complete as I can be with some of this stuff. So, I don't know. Let's see how things go. It is what it is. I'm gonna hop off here, work on some stuff. Y'all know the deal. Links in Discord, or Discord is in the links. Other stuff, other links, they exist. You can click on them. They'll take you to different things. Do stuff on the internet. That's what the internet's for. But yeah, seriously. Much love. I pop off the ones James Randi exposed. Yep. That's the one. Which voice can get worn out forever. Yep. He's moving a crab. He won't make the protest. Yeah. You notice he didn't really bring up the protest. Like I think he probably won't be there. I think he chickened out. And there's a reason. I am still not at liberty to divulge, but we probably will when the actual event is going on. We'll explain the details on that. But yeah, I think he may have chickened out at this stage. We'll see if in his yesterday stream he mentioned anything. But that's it. I'm gonna hop off here, work on some stuff, stream again sometime this afternoon. I'll catch everyone next time.